Welcome everyone to another episode of the Wholeness Wisdom Well. I am your host Lizette Marais, founder of the Arise Academy and creator of Arise, the alchemical process that supports us to dissolve the paradox and transcend duality, coming into our true sovereignty and sacred service within wholeness. Today's episode is with the amazing Valerie White. Welcome, Valerie.
Thank you.
And Valerie is a woman who I so deeply admire. She is a retired nurse, certified NES health practitioner, and we'll explain what that means in a minute, but also a council member within Arise Collective and a very dear friend and team member within my Arise core team. And I invited Valerie to share her journey, her story, and also the various paradoxes that she had to overcome, transcend, and transform for her to fully come into the fullness of her expression, which is of course what Arise is all about. So welcome, Valerie. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here with us. And I'd just love for you to share what you said just before we hit record about your intention for this interview. That was so precious.
May my words help many and offend no one, and hurt none.
That's right. May my words support many and offend none. Yes, so we'll do our very best. But, you know, we do deal with paradoxes in this conversation. So yes. I know that it has been such a journey for you of service, beloved, and I just wanted to start maybe with where you were when we connected, which was last year, January, I believe it was, or December, just the year before, just on that cusp. And we've been working together now for about a year and a half. Unbelievably, it's been that long. But if you could just describe for the audience where you were and that time in your life, because we can then focus on the unraveling that happened once we connected.
Where I was back then was giving up. I'd had enough. I'd done so much work. I'd learned so much. My heart was wide open to help those who I could support and I knew I could support. But I felt like I'd failed. I felt like my journey had been wasted. I felt like I wasn't saying words that resonated with anyone.
How were you wanting to help people, Valerie?
All my life, it's been about the other and not about me. I was drawn into nursing because I wanted to care. Right. And I look around and I see so much suffering. And I could see a healthcare system that was overwhelmed and broken. And I've been within that healthcare system for 15 years until it stopped loving me, when things became more about figures on the page than about the people. And I felt ultimately I was put in a situation where I wasn't helping. I was ticking the boxes, and I no longer fit that box.
Right.
I wanted to break that box down. It just didn't feel right there anymore. I had to get out.
Now, for many people that are awakening right now to that, you know, to the jobs or the service that they're bringing in the world, a lot of people are waking up to this, that they chose a certain career because of a certain passion and the opportunity, right? Now they're in that space, and a lot of nursing was you and a lot of nursing was not because of the demands of the system. So you had a choice to make at that point, which I would call an initiation on the path of wholeness, right? As we get to know ourselves, we get confronted with, oh, that doesn't actually reflect me, so what am I going to do about that?
Yes.
So what did you decide to do about that?
I gave up nursing completely, and I made my hobby my income. My hobby that time was cake decorating. I learned how to make all the sugar flowers, and then I learned how to teach it. And what really struck me at that point was I'd worked so hard in nursing. I'd jumped through all the hoops and did all the learning and did everything I needed to do. And at that point I was working as a scrub nurse in an operating theatre, doing, in my opinion, very important work. We were doing facial reconstruction for those that couldn't face the world, those that had had cancer in their faces, those that had been disfigured. And I was helping to restore them to a society that they could face again. And yet I felt like dirt on the floor. I felt walked over. So when I went into the next phase of my life, which was cake decorating, and I started teaching women, nearly all women, nearly all women with children, busy lives, and they were just doing a bit of their hobby. They were coming in and creating flowers, and all of a sudden I'm a goddess. Although I loved it, I loved every part of that, but the contrast was so great for me.
Incredible,
You
right?
can do something like facial reconstruction and helping and nursing and caring and you're nothing, and yet
Well, you felt like you were nothing,
I
the way you were
was
treated in the
walked over.
system,
I wasn't allowed really to go and have a cup of coffee. Once the kettle was boiled, I was called back to my job. The next patient's on the table. Didn't have time for the kettle to boil to refill me.
And a lot of people, I think, can resonate with that and recognize themselves in that. But you had the courage to walk away from that which you loved in order to love yourself and honor yourself, and you went into this creative business. But you didn't stay there, right? Although you had success, although you found a voice.
At the time I felt fulfilled, and I did it for quite a few years and did many aspects. I was making wedding cakes, I was doing some corporate cakes, I was doing demonstrations, I was teaching, I was doing exhibitions. My husband and I created a set of tools which were helping to get a smooth finish on your cake, selling worldwide. It was a passion, it was beautiful. Till my husband became ill, and later I lost him to cancer, and my whole world fell apart. Then I had to reconstruct yet again. Business was now far too busy for me, it had to go. So part of it went to my niece, the rest I let go, all the wedding cakes and things, not doing anymore. I was burnt out basically, I'd done too much. But then I had a year of kind of nothingness and life-changing when a friend introduced me to resonance healing, bio-resonance.
Bio-resonance, right.
And I went into that, and I did trainings on that, and I bought the equipment, and I even built my own health and wellness centre. I had that passion again.
There comes the
to
passion
help
again.
Other people. This is so revolutionary.
Right. So just before we dive into that, which is so beautiful, because again we see this death of something beautiful, but then this ability to go within and then rebirth, and as if life brings something to you. So when we say bioresonance, for those that don't know, this is measuring the energetics of our health and our body and our wellness. And tell us a little bit about Nest Health and why this particular company, why this particular bioresonance therapy.
When I started with bioresonance, which is giving the cells the frequencies that they recognize in order to do their job. And with illness, the cells are not working properly, they're out of balance. So the resonance restores the balance within those cells.
This is allowing the cells to regenerate on their own naturally,
it's like
right?
waking them up again and they're regenerating.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But I struggled because in order to know which frequencies to use, I had a machine now with all the frequencies in and everything was there. But now I don't know what's wrong with you. How can I tell? How can I?
Get to the core of it, right? Get to exactly what they need.
So I lost confidence in giving this treatment because I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. I know that with resonance you can't do the wrong thing.
Right.
But I needed to help people, and if I didn't feel like I was helping, and my own kind of thoughts were interfering with that.
Sure.
My own lack of confidence in helping was interfering.
This is a very important topic, by the way, because there are many, many healers. There are many people called to serve humanity in many, many different modalities and ways, right? And when I started with my sound bowls and my music, I also questioned and doubted myself. Like, does this resonance, does me channeling these frequencies of higher divine consciousness, does it help? So there is a period where we must test and try, and we do fall into doubt because, you know what, it's revolutionary, which means it hasn't existed. If we are going to watch our evolution reveal, we have no choice but to try new things and investigate and prove. And I love that. So you wanted to, you knew it worked, you knew you couldn't do wrong, but you still wanted the absolute proof it was going to make a difference for people.
So the testing side of that,
right?
I felt unable to believe in, because it was using a tensor, which is kind of a rod which responds to energy.
Right.
And if it goes up and down, it means yes, it's needed. If it goes to side, then it's not. The resonance is not there.
Yeah.
But this tensor would not work for me.
You
so
wanted more science. You wanted more.
It
proof.
just
yeah.
wasn't going. One going this way, one going that way. And I feel like it's my energy then.
Mm-hmm.
My doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so important. It was my doubt.
Sure.
Are you going to work? Yeah, go that way, go that way. And I didn't know. I must have been influencing it. But it was saying, you don't believe me, I'm not going to work. The other method was kinesiology, which is a muscle test.
Right.
If the muscle is strong when I press, then it's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, then it... But again, is it strong? Is it not? Doubt.
So what
all
did it
of this
for?
doubt
Absolutely.
in me. Then, by some magic, into my Facebook feed, I think, came Ness Health, who said they had this scanning system that could indicate where certain parts of the body were out of balance. This is what I'm looking for. Something to tell me where the body is out of balance.
Right.
Not only that, they have the remedies to correct it and put things back into balance. That was the magic. That is Ness Health. They offer a system which scans your whole energetic body.
And physical, emotional, mental.
It all is shown on this scan,
Mm-hmm.
which takes 10 seconds, literally, as we count to 10. And using our voice, which is carrying our energetic blueprint, telling this system that's been designed by Ness, amazingly, where your body's out of balance.
So here was the magic when I met Valerie and we started understanding what this was, and I got to see it, and I said, well, that makes sense to me, that I just need to count to 10, and all of a sudden I have the scientific scan. I have all the reports to show me where I'm out of balance from a cellular and energetic level, and all through the sound, which makes total sense because my healing modality was sound, and I knew by calling on the right tone and meditating in the right frequency, we can rebalance. So we started connecting, and I started taking the scans, using my own medicine on me, and we were able to quantify transformation.
Absolutely, yes.
Together.
Together.
And so, of course, working together became a very natural next step. In this journey, my love, you have been a student. I have had the honor of being a guide and a translator, a channel for you, but every step of the way, of course, is yours. So there were a couple of paradoxes that you needed to face in your journey of wholeness for you to make peace with that. It's been such a long, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes disappointing as we go through the death and rebirth. But what were some of the core paradoxes that you had to face about yourself to be here?
I just had such a struggle with life, believing that I mattered. That was the first thing. And then I'm telling myself, of course I do. Why on earth am I here? I'm here to help people. But what about me? Do I matter? And I would give and give and give and give to the detriment of myself. And then I'm thinking, I'm a healer. Look. I am a healer. I have to matter.
You need to matter first.
It took some time to understand that message fully and start looking after myself. But with the nest scan, then I could see where I was out of balance, both physically and emotionally.
Yes.
Because the emotional side is so powerful. And all I wanted to do was give, and it doesn't work.
And what is also so beautiful is that even though you had the tracking, until we walked together to move that exponentially.
Yes.
Because, you know, when people talk of wholeness, and I mean, we talk about self-love, and for me, self-love is different to what's out there. It's not so much about, it is about loving myself, but it's not only about loving myself. It is about being the love that we are, the love within you.
Yeah.
Wanted to serve. But unless I'm clear with my self-doubt, my self-sabotage, where I'm canceling myself out, where I am not speaking my truth, how can I come into the full power of supporting the other? So this is our individual journeys, always, constantly, and realizing that as I'm healing myself, that is actually the only healing that ever needs to happen. Right? Beautiful. So now you're stepping into service, but there was a couple of things. I remember one of the paradoxes we faced was that you were being called as a teacher, someone who's bringing forward a revolutionary way of understanding that the body regenerates itself if we will give it the right conditions to do so.
Yes.
So they're the regenerative leadership and the consciousness leadership connects, like with me. But we don't know how, right? So we use these tools, and then we use also sound and many other infoceuticals. We use many different modalities to rectify. But you had to accept that you were being called as a teacher, and yet as long as you continued holding the fear of teachers, because how was your experience with teachers growing up?
I just did not connect with teachers, and teachers did not connect with me. I had a deafness problem, which disconnected me from teachers. I would always run away. I would be at the back of the class. All I wanted to do was get through schooling and go and be a nurse. Because with ear problems, I spent time in hospital, and I saw how wonderful those places were. The nurses in the hospital in my early years were so loving.
It was about caring, wasn't it?
It was about caring, and that's what I wanted to do. But as I came to the end of my school life, I hadn't achieved anything academically at all. Zero. Nothing. And I just wanted to go and be a nurse, until they told me that you can't be a nurse because you need qualifications. Now they tell me, how can you need qualifications to care, to love, to...
Right.
So I then had to start again and go and get some qualifications in order to try.
And here's the thing, it's one thing to get the qualifications and the training, and all that's wonderful. But the impact on our self-esteem, on our confidence, on our activation to move forward with our calling, that's what was damaged, wasn't it?
Yes.
And so sometimes, and I see this with so many teachers and so many beautiful people who feel a call, who have a modality, a certain medicine, a certain magic, but it is really dependent on their state of personal power, whether that is going to be a safe space for others or not.
Yes.
So we had to clear that up within you.
And that took some doing.
That took some doing.
It did.
But now you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready now. But I tried on my own. I even built a health and wellness centre.
Yes.
And I could not attract people because I didn't have the words, I didn't have the understanding. Whole world was changing around me and I couldn't keep up. And all this technology, and there was so much to learn, and I tried and tried and tried, and I learned the technology, and I did the computer, and I did the video, and still it didn't work.
And we can have many of those obstacles,
Yeah.
by the way. So if you are feeling some of those obstacles and you're resonating with what Valerie said, we have all these obstacles, and yes, there's many little pieces to learn, but the truth is that you could have totally, found other alternatives, because you still don't have to manage all of the technology, right? It's these inner hidden blocks, really, that block us, because now you have the words, but you have the words because of your personal work.
Yeah.
And now you're also not afraid of attracting people because of your inner confidence to your things.
Right. Yes.
And a lot of people are thinking, I had it for years. I thought I didn't understand marketing. Oh no, I understood marketing just fine. What I didn't want to do is play in that level of frequency with my offering. It's different. It's different. Okay, so when we get to our self-worth, when we get the clarity of our calling, then a new confidence and courage emerges.
Yes.
So even what I loved also in your story, honey, is that you did build the center. I mean, she put in the work. It's not that you didn't put in the work. It's not that you're playing victim. You really put in the work. I was so blown away what you built. And yet it didn't feel whole. It didn't feel complete. So where are you now, Valerie, that you would like to share with people who might feel that they have something so important for humanity, and I'm sure you do, and would like to get your advice about how to bring that forward in its full excellence and how it deserves to be delivered? What would you say to them?
It's a long, hard journey, or it feels a long, hard journey, but until you accept who you are and you start believing and taking care of yourself, then nothing's going to shift, because the mind is so connected to the body, and with bad thoughts comes bad body. With good thoughts, then your body's looked after. The cells are resonating with your thoughts. So if you want to do it, you've got to let go of the old. You've got to move forward. You've got to smile, be happy, share love. Don't get frightened. I was. I know it's scary, but we can move through it.
We absolutely can.
I let my whole health and wellness centre go, and I knew when I built it, this is not just for me, it's for the future generation. And I moved on quicker than I'd expected to, but by letting that all go, by saying I'm done with it, totally surrendering, then something like Lizette shows up, and this might be the video that shows up for you, as Lizette did for me. It just shifts something. That just makes you start from scratch again, believing, having faith, having love for yourself, and move forward. It can be done.
It can be done. And as you now stepping as a member of the Arise team and sharing this beautiful work, because one of the things I most wanted as I'm serving corporate clients, as I'm serving humanity, is making sure that we can quantify this transcendent transformation, right? We want to quantify and also, as it is spiritual, it is also quantum physics, it's also science. And so this is such an important part, our cooperation. But I also feel that it's not only about knowing, it's about finding the tools to shift. And then we've got this beautiful collective full of different healers and teachers with different modalities in medicine and magic. And we get to work together now to support humanity with all of our tools together. And that's very, very exciting. But without our own journey to stand in our sovereign self, in our sacred service, and then really show up, we often say that we are waiting for life, but often life is waiting for the whole of us to come to the table. So it has been a long journey, but our journey has only been a year and a half. And so I really believe that the long journey is over. And now, as we allow, as even life is deconstructing everything, we have an opportunity to let go of the limitations that has kept us stuck and willing to open up to the new way that life wants to move in and through. And that has been our journey. And what a journey it has been. I am so proud of you. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to serve the world with you. Thank you for this episode. And to all of you that have something to bring in this time, believe in yourself, honey. Believe in that call. And it's okay that we might not know exactly how, just that call and you tuning in and listening, and you being willing to unravel one paradox at a time and take one step at a time to your full unfolding. We are truly here to support you in any way we can. Wishing you every blessing and every love. Take care. See you next time.